Well, in fact, joining us from the Mumbai newsroom right now is my colleague Niranjan. We've accessed a set of visuals, in fact, CCTV footage that no other channel has accessed. What is it that these CCTV footage that has been accessed by Republic TV essentially indicate? We've been saying that there has been a cover-up. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Now we're going to show you the proof of that cover-up.
Shravan, the last few days, basically what's happening is that in the first day, the police gave out a few CCTV sequences. They were trying to plant a few CCTV sequences, perhaps. Now, the second day, reporters, of course, went to those locations and we managed to get a few more sequences. Now, what has happened in the last few days? And look at the sequence very closely, Shravan. I want to play this from the beginning. This is an independent footage that we have accessed in the course of our reporting. So, Republic TV independently went to each house, each shop, each CCTV location to get you this footage. Look at the timestamp, Shravan. I'm going to freeze it at the right moment, but keep watching this frame. It's 1:58 a.m. The road is clear, okay? It's a patched road. It's got a lot of gravel. It's got a lot of garbage on it on the sides. But see what happens at 1:58, 3:38. Look at that, okay? You will see a car here, Shravan. You see the car any second now. The car enters the frame, and I'm going to freeze it at the right time, right? The car enters the frame. I'm going to pause it at this point. This is the car, Shravan. This is the car. I'm going to freeze the frame for a second, okay? I'm going to freeze that for a second. Just bear with me. I'm just going to freeze it. The car passes exactly at 1:58, okay? So I'm going to mark the time here as well. And I'm going to show you what we saw earlier and now, right? Take a look at this, Shravan. Take a look at this. At 1:58 a.m., this is the car. And you see the trail of blood here. The trail of blood on the left side. On the left side, which is exactly what the report is also saying, that the body was dragged, entangled on the left side. So there is a trail of blood that you see here. Shravan, there is a trail of blood which was not there earlier, okay? So this is at 1:58 a.m. 1:58 a.m. In this particular sequence, it's not just the time, the hour, the minute, but even the seconds become very important, Shravan. I'll tell you why. Take a look at this video, okay? I'm going to go back a few seconds. Watch again, okay? Watch again. At this particular point, Shravan, at this particular point, you can't see the marks. You can't see the trail of blood. You cannot see any. It is a bad road, of course, but there is a trail. You see that trail? It's very clear. It becomes extremely clear as the car passes by. And it leaves a trail of blood. That's the trail of blood seen on the road. And I'll tell you why this becomes even more interesting, Shravan, because this is something that the Delhi police has never told us. We've never seen any footage like this. For the first time, Shravan, and I'm going to ask my team to pull up that footage where you can see the police. Look at that. In the same road, exactly 5 minutes later. That footage is on your screen. Exactly 5 minutes later, a Delhi police jeep passes the exact same road with the blood trail. So at 1:58, 13 seconds, you have the bike. At 1:58 to 38 seconds, you have the car dragging the body. At 2 o'clock, 2:03, exactly 5 minutes later, you have the police jeep. We'll put the three windows out, Shravan, okay? And it tells you the sequence. It's for the first time that you're seeing the bike, the car, and the police in the same frame, from the same CCTV footage, from the same vantage point. And it tells you a story that it happened perhaps so quickly, in about 25 seconds. And what is more, if you can pull up the visual, the first visual of the bike, you can see that on that bike there are two women. It is evident that there are two women. Who was riding the bike is not clear. but it appears that it could have been Nidhi at the handle. Nidhi was perhaps riding the bike, and then the Baleno drags the body exactly 25 seconds later. So she was seen at 1:58:13. 25 seconds later, in the same frame, you have a car dragging the body. You have a car dragging the body, showing you the trail of blood as well. And exactly 5 minutes later, a police van passed that exact lane. It all has been captured in this CCTV for the first time. I think for the first time since the story broke on Sunday, we are looking at one sequence showing the full sequence of events. One CCTV, different points of time, about 7 to 8 minutes of footage that we've been able to gather. And in this 7 to 8 minutes, it is very clear that the police was there. The police had no idea, had absolutely no idea about either the incident or where the body was. This is also what the police report is saying, Shawan. I think you have details of the police report. The police report also says that these 5 men in the car knew that they had hit her. At one point, the police report submitted to the Home Ministry and Amit Shah specifically also says that the car went back and forth. They knew they had hit her, and then they went back and forth, which shows you that it's not just an accident. It's not just an accident. Harsha, in fact, has tracked this footage down. Harsha has tracked the entire footage. She's seen second by second what has happened in this footage. I'd like to go across to her. Harsha will tell us. Harsha, you've seen this footage. Why don't you tell our viewers what you saw and what you make of the of this entire sequence? Harsha.
Exactly, Niranjan, the time we saw the report which police is going to submit to the MHA, the exactly timeline from when they got the call, the PCR got a call and the time they acted. But exactly this is the same spot, Niranjan, I'm standing right now. This is the Kishan Vihar. If we cross this gate and go little bit forward, there's an intersection where exactly the scooty was hit by Baleno. And exactly this area, because we saw when the scooty was passing this entire stretch, this entire road of Kishan Vihar, at that time there was no trail, there was no line in this entire road. But when Baleno exactly crossed this path, there was a trail of blood. There was a trail of blood, and just we saw a beam of light. That means Gypsy police PCR van, that Gypsy stopped at a point where scooty got hit by Baleno, but they didn't act, they didn't stop, they didn't take the scooty with themselves. It was the timeline of 2 and 3. 2 o'clock, 3 minutes it was, and this is the very place where the scooty was hit. The contradiction is clearly could be seen in the statements of the police officials. They didn't act. PCR was called by the eyewitnesses several times. We have accessed several CCTV footages from this very place where where it could clearly be seen that there were men who were calling PCR van. There were multiple people who were calling PCR van. Gypsy was here as well, but Gypsy didn't take any note of it. They were not worried about that. This could be a serious accident, something major could have happened. They just crossed by, and the entire timeline which they have given, that 9 PCR vans, 5 PCR vans were looking for the accused, they were trying to search for the vehicle. This was exactly the place. Gypsy was here. It was here. Gypsy stopped at this place for almost 50 to 60 seconds, and we have seen the beam of light. That there was a Gypsy which stopped at a place where scooty was hit, but they didn't act. They just went by. They just crossed this entire Kishan Vihar until more than 1 hour. They didn't act for more than 1 hour. This is clear. This clearly shows the law and order situation of Delhi. This clearly shows that police was not alert at that night. This clearly shows that we could have saved Anjali. Anjali could have been saved at that point of time if police could have acted very nicely at that point of time. But they were not aware. They were not alert. We don't know what exactly happened, why they just crossed, why didn't they thought about it that there have been a serious accident. And it was just Baleno crossed, and after just Baleno crossed, after 5 minutes, Gypsy also crossed. But they didn't act, and there was an entire trail of blood. They didn't even see it. So clearly, police is questionable, their act is questionable, they have to respond on this entire thing. Niranjan, back to you.
Well, and one more question, Harsha, as we stay with those 3 windows, I just want to ask you a question because, you know, at 1:58:13, is it possible that in 20-25 seconds the entire accident had happened, or whatever it was? It had happened, and how is it that there were 2 people on the bike in 25 seconds? in 25 seconds, what do we know happened? I mean, did you try finding out from any other angle or any other CCTV from that area? Is there no other footage available to see what happened in those 25 seconds?
Exactly. Niranjan, this is the point, and we are being told that Scooty was hit at this point. Scooty was hit by Baleno at this point. We could also see some trail at this point. This is exactly the place where Scooty was hit. And from this point to till that gate, I'll ask my camera person Hitesh to show you. There are multiple CCTV cameras put outside the entrance of few homes, few houses, but they are not working. But the one CCTV footage which we have accessed at the T point, we have seen the entire visual. We don't even see Nidhi, because Nidhi was saying that she fled away. This is the point where Scooty got hit by Baleno. Nidhi fled away, but we don't see any visuals of Nidhi just crossing this entire gate. We don't see any visuals. That means Nidhi would have fled from this point. This is exactly the place. This could be right or left turn where Nidhi fled away from this point, and she didn't even bother to save her friend Niranjan. And we are still trying to talk to see the two men which we saw the Scooty after the Baleno cross. There was one Scooty. We are trying to access. We are trying to see if there was someone also who saw this accident. We are trying to gather more CCTV footages, because this is the entire area where this entire incident happened. This is the intersection where the Baleno hit the Scooty, and police gypsy was standing here for 50 to 60 seconds. They just crossed. They didn't stop by. They told that Scooty was found by police officials in the morning. Scooty was found by police officials in morning. This was the statement of DCP Harinder Singh in the morning hours. While a PCR van was here, while one more van, there were two PCR vans, one which crossed before 1:58 and the other one which crossed at 2:03 a.m. So this is the entire thing which we are gathering. There are multiple CCTV footages. Some are not working, but we are trying to access and ask each of everyone. We are trying to ask the shopkeepers, the house, there's a small school, that if they could help us with any of the CCTV footages so that we can see exactly how the Baleno hit the Scooty, Niranjan.
That's one of the biggest questions that arise if you look at all the three CCTV sequences in totality, right? You look at the full picture. At 1:58, the bike passes. 25 seconds later, a car is seen dragging the body. The blood trail is even seen in this particular sequence in the middle of your screens, and then 5 minutes later, the police van passes. How is it that nobody spots the bike? I mean, you saw the condition of the bike. The bike was completely damaged. The bike was completely damaged. And if it was damaged, how is it that the police van didn't spot any bike? How is it that in the police report and every report and official communication that's come out, the police claims that the bike was spotted a little after 4 a.m.? It just does not add up. I'm taking a short break right now on the coverage. When we come back, getting you more details of the story and the questions that remain